This is MajorTv and this is brought to you by Major. Like and subscribe to get your notifications. Couldn't do it without you, need your full participation. And we giving back, this is your appreciation. Tune in daily, get your positive vibrations. Learn different words in your own native language. Learn being black ain't all about slavery. Put that in the school book, it's part of education. We need to rewrite it, need some better information. Like how we built the pyramids and formed our own nation. Visit different continents and then try to invade them. Way before Columbus, but that ain't none of these pages. It's all just rumors, just a bunch of speculation. But why in every myth, every hero is Caucasian. Even white people starting to say this shit is racist. Like how they talking to blacks for this vaccination. This is MajorTv and this is brought to you by Major. Like and subscribe to get your notifications. Do it without you, need your full participation. And we giving back, this is your appreciation. This is MajorTv and this is brought to you by Major. Like and subscribe to get your notifications. Do it without you, need your full participation. And we giving back, this is your appreciation. Appreciate the views and appreciate the comments. Keeping it real, always giving you this content. Hoping that my people don't take nothing out of context. Giving you
Hey, my people, this is Major. Tune on MajorTv. Let's talk. This is where real engagement conversations begin with the Black community. We address social, political, and economic issues that affect our community. I want to thank you for tuning on this live. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep. Hola. And good day to everyone. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you wouldn't mind, would you like this video and share it? Share this live because we have a sister that an elder sister that have been communicating off and on for a minute. Like you all, she have met me via YouTube and whatnot, and we had a lot of conversations behind the scenes and what have you. She's been very inspiring as well as very helpful along the way. She just want to bring encouragement to the sisters out there. There's so much stuff I've been reporting and people been reporting everywhere regarding the violence against Black women, the trafficking, the incarceration, the mistreatment, and even the Black man not really honoring Black women like we should. And I definitely want to apologize for that, you know. But this sister is very sweet, very humble. I admired our journey getting knowing each other, and it's been special, you know. So I want to bring on the sister elder, Melvina Washington. I put Melvina Polk. That must be your maiden name. How you doing, sister?
I'm good. Hi, family. God bless.
All right, good. Glad you was able to come on. Tell the people some briefly about you in reference to we'll give you this opportunity to basically speak about what you want to speak about. I know there's a number of things you want to speak about, but can you share with the people why you want to speak about this, and we'll give you like the right to speak about it.
Okay, thank you. Hi, family. Shalom to everyone. Like Major said, I'm one of his what do you call it? That comes on the channel and watch him all the time. He's been so inspiring and encouraging to a lot of people. I know also we have some Caucasian people even listening. But right now, we just want to talk to our people because like Grandmaster Jay has said, and you, Major, you know, we got to learn how to love on ourselves. And I'm a Black woman and I love my people. And one thing I want to talk about and talk to is our sisters. you know, I'm 63 years old and I'm retired right now, but I know it's so many sisters that's struggling on the job. They working hard and they're not being recognized. They're not being paid like they should. They're going through a lot of abuse. When I was working, I was going through a lot of abuse, sexual harassment. I worked, the last job I worked, it was at a treatment center. I was a mental health technician too, and a nurse's assistant. And I worked there for 13 years. And out of the whole 13 years, I only got up to $15 an hour. But the men's, they got all the way up to, some of them was making 25 and 26 and $27 an hour. And, you know, of course, we know this is unfair. The black woman, because I'm a black woman, and then I had a black woman as well, I can only talk about my experience. And I know what my sisters are going through as well. We have been overlooked so much, and people always so quick to say, you know, you're an angry black woman, but they don't know our history like we know it. They don't carry the stripes from our ancestors' backs like we do. And the reason why we still feeling those whips on our back is because we're constantly being treated like we are still slaves. And I just want to encourage our sisters, let them know, you know, that they're not alone. And between Grandmaster Jay and Major, they're going to set up, what did you say, Major? Is it a new town?
Say it again.
We're going to set up a town.
Yeah, yeah. We talk about the land and whatnot. You know what I'm saying, and what have you.
Uh-huh.
We spoke about what have you. Yes. That's something that we definitely gonna probably discuss
Yeah.
down the line and what have you. You know.
And but my main reason for talking to my sisters right now is because I know they're really struggling, working hard, and not getting no recognition. And I'm gonna tell a little bit about my story. I'm from Mobile, Alabama, and my dad. The first time I got introduced as a child to racism was when I was about 6 years old. My dad was he told me about his brother. He was the first black policeman in Mobile County, and his brothers in blues killed him. So that was the first time I experienced the hardship of being black. And the second time was when my dad became a foreman at Scott Paper Company. And what had happened was the KKK came in, they cleared out the factory and came in and threw a bomb and blew him up inside the factory. It's a good thing he was on a ledge real high because the guardian angels threw a ladder in front of him and he caught a hold of it. And that was the only thing that saved him. He was able to get back on the platform because it blew him off of it. And he was able to get back on the platform and walk off it. When he got home, his forearm right up in here, both arms was bandaged, and it was just bloody. It was real, real bloody. And we, as his children, it was so traumatizing for us to see that. During that time, we wasn't being accepted in hospitals, you know, because it was like we're very, very deep south, Saraland, Alabama. So we had to unbandage him and clean them off with peroxide and witch hazel and alcohol and wrap them back up. And so that was the reason why my dad marched with Martin Luther King during that time. And it was so traumatizing for a child to have to go through to see that. And then I think it was like 1963 when they started busing. And my dad told me and my sisters, it was three of us, we was getting on the bus. He said, before you go, well, the night before, he said, before you get on the bus, I want you guys to understand that when they get on the bus, they're going to spit on you. They're going to hit you, and you have to take it. And we didn't understand because I was like maybe about in the second or third grade. I said, we got to take it. And he said, yeah, you're going to have to take it because if not, they're going to kill you. But me and your mom would be there in spirit. Know that we're going to be there in spirit with you guys. So sure enough, when we got on the bus that day, And they, when they got on the bus after us, first thing that came in, slandering us and hitting us and doing everything they could to make us feel, less than. When we got home, me and my three sisters, we was a bloody mess. And so, that was some of my experience being a young female child and, just being tortured. And then through the years and stuff, it's just so much you go through as a female. I know our brothers go through a whole lot too, so I'm not, not recognizing you guys. But right now, I just want to talk to the females to let you guys know I understand what you're going through, and I want to encourage you guys to stay strong because you're not alone. You know, Grandmaster Jay and Major and also the elder. I forgot his name, but he's such a precious soul. You have him on all the time. They be giving some good word of knowledge. And I don't think Major know, but a lot of times when he critiquing us, is helping us with encouraging us, like he was telling us. What was that you said, Major? I'm trying to think now. You was telling us about listening. Be quick to listen and slow to speak, because a lot of times all this anger builds up in us as females so bad. When we get an opportunity to talk, we over talk, and we really don't listen like we should. And it's not because we don't want to, but it's just because we've been tortured so much. So many people have a story like mine. I know that. And today is not even, it's no better today because we're still going through a struggle. We're not being recognized. We're being treated less than. And I,
Let's talk about that.
mhm,
Let's talk about that, Miss Melvina.
mhm,
From your perspective, just considering everything you just said, let's speak specifically, and I want to hear specifically about the mental health that you was talking about. That you had to deal with black women in reference when you was a part of job that you held and what have you. Can you talk about how it affects women mental health being abused, like black women being abused?
mhm. Well, you know, trauma to the body is bad, but trauma to the brain is even worse. And we all go through it, and some of us go through it more than what we should, and even more than we realize. And we're not as quick to go and try to seek help. And so when you don't seek help or have anybody to talk to, it just builds up in you. And that's why you have this issue where you take it out on other people, and it's not on purpose. You might talk aggressive, you know what I mean? Or if somebody says something, you might snap real easy. And we don't mean any harm. It's just that we have to take so much in life as females, on top of trying to take care of the family and and buy groceries, pay the bills. And if you're a single mom, you're doing all this on your own. Because see, I became a single mom not on purpose, but it's just that I married the wrong person. And I got a divorce in 1989, and my children was only like maybe about 7 and 8. They was just little stair steps, and so I had to go to work. Before I went to work, I cooked for my children, and they had to. I had to direct them how to keep the door locked. Once you get in there, keep the door locked, and make sure you don't open the door to anybody. And then you at work, you're stressing over that, making sure, wondering how your children's doing. See, during that time, it was like the 80s when I got divorced, and my children, even though you instruct them, you still in the back of your head, you worrying if your children's are okay. You know what I mean? And that's stress too, on top of all the other stress you worrying about. Then you worrying about making it home in time so you could make sure they take their baths and do their homework, and this is it's a song and dance we had to go through, and some women are going through it. And I know we got some brothers too that's going through it, but it's just that it's more women's than it is men's that's going through this, and this it builds up in us, and we don't mean it. A lot of times we might lash out and it's a cry for help. And I'm so glad that when I first met Major, I said, I am just so happy to have a strong black male in my life, because we are missing that. That'll tell us, you're doing a good job, and I'm proud of you. We need to hear that, uh, and then if you want to have somebody to vent to, because I called Major up sometimes, we talk about things, and he's very, very delicate, and that's what we need. We need for our men to understand too that we need that special touch sometimes. That just you know just look it just something little just to give us a positive outlook, to let us know that we are doing a good job. Major.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Family. I know, a lot of this I'm going to be talking about. I want to use for an example too. In 1984, one of my classmates, his name was Michael Donnell, Michael Donalds, and Miss Donald, his mother, uh, sent her son to the store, and she was a single mom. And he was only 19 when this happened, and it's on CNN, and I want you to look at that, Major, and maybe put that documentary on your site so people can see it. But she sent him to the corner store to go get some cigarettes for him. He was a nice young man. I remember even when we used to go to college and bar hop, that he wouldn't even drink. So when he came up missing, and we always even looking for him to maybe come hang out with us too, because they call it bar hopping now, but you know how you go from club to club and all of you hanging out, you know what I mean? When we woke up the next day, they had him on the news hanging from a tree, and his throat had been cut, and that was in 1984 in Mobile,
What that
Alabama.
was that? What that was that? Mobile?
Yeah, Mobile, Alabama. And CNN just this year did a special on it. It's a movie about it too. His name is Michael Donald, and his mother was so courageous and really, really just inspired all so many black females there, because she kept a upper lift, they call it. She was so inspiring and so encouraging. You know what I mean? About what had happened to her son. She did like what's the guy named who got beaten because they said he whistled at a white woman. And I don't mean to offend anybody. So, I know we got some Caucasian people here also looking at your show. They don't let it be known, but it is. Um, and what had happened, she made them open a cassette up. He had an open cassette also, just like that young man. What's his name? Tilton? There it is. There it is. I can't see it too good. It's too little for me, but that's it. He's got it up there now. There you go. And Michael was such a humble young man. That's Michael right there. Yeah. And like the lady when she was working in a restaurant, and she was there when Martin Luther King got killed. She said she never had a chance to tell her story. A lot of times we go through trauma and we don't have nobody to talk about the kind of trauma we went through. And they asked her, said, well, why you haven't spoke on that until now? She said, well, I never had the opportunity to talk about it. So, that's why I wanted to tell you, our sisters, you know, find someone to talk to about the trauma that you went through in your lives. Because holding it in, like my grandma used to say, is more room out than in. It just builds up and builds up in us, and it's not a healthy thing. See, that's Michael right there. He went to school with my sisters. I'm they're 4 years older than younger than me. I'm sorry. I'm the oldest, the second oldest, that is. And this young man right here was so precious to his mom. She didn't know he had got killed by the Ku Klux Klan. They pulled him off the street and killed him. And it was all due to a black man had shot. I'm not sure if he killed the policeman. He killed shot a policeman. And they went out, these men who did that to Michael, went out, said they was going to find a black man to kill. And they found him. They asked him for directions. And when he leaned over into him to tell him, give him direction because he had manners. They point a gun at him and made him get in the car. So it would be good for everybody to watch that documentary and the movie. They made a movie about it too, you know. And it's so much as females. We worried. I got 8 grandchildren, and I have a son and a daughter who's grown, and I worry all the time about them getting pulled over. One of my grandsons did get pulled over. I'm here in Las Vegas. That's where I live, and the cop was trying to make him get out the car, but he knew his rights. He said, "Why are you pulling me over?" He pulled him over for no reason, just because he was, you know, a black young man, and he wouldn't get out. And he called his dad up because it's just right down the street. You know, it's so much on our minds constantly, especially when you're single. It's like that anyway with black females because we're so dedicated to the family, and I know you know that, Major. You know, it's our whole life is our family.
Let me ask you some things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you went real deep talking about the Michael Donald
Say
case,
that
and
again. You cut off.
I said let me ask you a few questions because you went real deep. And you're talking about the Michael Donald hanging. Was that something new that came
Major,
to
you
my
there?
attention? Right? You can hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. You
You can
cut
hear
out.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now, baby.
I still have a couple of questions for you, right? I said since you brought the Michael Donald case, let's see, I made you a frozen. Hope I'm not frozen no more.
Oh no, you
Uh,
talking? I can hear you. Go ahead.
all right. I get what you're saying, right? Now, my question is one of the questions: how do black women cope moving forward from the best of your abilities? Because obviously, you've been around for a minute now, and you've been able to cope, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell black women that's going through what you have went through, in reference to like, especially they're single, if they have kids, they
Mm-hmm.
work, they pay bills, um, they may have a job they don't like,
Yeah.
they may deal with abuse or what have you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
From a significant other, somebody they seen or what have you. What advice you could tell them, man, as far as dealing with it? Because when you was talking, and somebody want to let you know the person was talking about, a Cody said Emmett Till when they to open the casket, you
Right.
were talking about the debt. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're talking about also, a lot of they call internalized oppression. When you say we keep it all, when a woman, a person, keep
Yeah.
anything inside for so long, take out themselves or other people. So my question is, what can you tell moving forward black women how to cope with all them things you was talking about?
Okay. For one thing, like I was saying, what I did, I invested in my children. I helped. We got a very close knit family. Um, my nephews. If you invest in something that makes you happy, you know, put make yourself. What I'm trying to say. How can I put it? I stayed busy and do something that you love doing and say, I love my family and I love my people. So when I lived in California before I lived here in Las Vegas, I decided to help the community out. And that kept my mind off a lot of things. Like my house became a safe house because when my ex-husband, and God bless him, I don't have no anger towards him or anything, what he didn't do for me and the kids. I love him the same. And I didn't talk to my children about his neglect until they got to be a grown because I didn't want them to be bitter and hate. You can't have like the elders was saying, and you have been talking on too. You got it. You can't let it turn into bitterness and hate because when you start hating and stuff, that makes the situation worse. Uh, I loved on everybody I could, and it gave me a lot of peace and happiness because the community I lived in Long Beach. Um, um, I made sure I invested myself by being a part of the community, just like the gang. My son was trying to get in. Well, he did join a gang, and I went to the leader and let him know, since I didn't give him permission to jump my son in the gang. Now me and God is in the gang with him, and I'm not trying to get churchy or anything, but I'm just trying to explain. And so I opened my door, my home, to people, to the young people, and to the unwed mothers, and even to people who was married. My home was a safe house. If a gang member made it to my home, they were safe, and all the gangs knew it. We had the Bloods, the Crips, we had the Samoan gangs, we had the uh, we had so many different gangs, and I let it be known that my house is going to be a safe house. One time, my son, the early part when he was in the gang, I took in 16 gang members. See, if you invest yourself in something that's creative and you're happy about it, it helps you through the depression. It helps you through uh, all the worries and stuff. You got to put your mind on something positive. And that's why I end up start working in the treatment center for mental health, because I know.
That's the next question I have for you, Miss Melvina. What about them getting some kind of therapy, psychiatric
Mm-hmm,
treatment and meetings and communication? Somebody can relate to, particularly probably being a black woman,
mm-hmm,
being the psychiatrist or a therapist. What about them um getting help that way? Because everybody don't have that big family type
right.
thing going on, and
Mm-hmm,
everybody's not into like trying to save the world. They just want to make sure
that's right.
they all right, their family all right, in reference to the kids and what have you. But for black men, what you feel about them getting some kind of help?
Yes, that was the last thing I did, because as a people, we can be very stubborn, and women's especially, because we're so used to, taking care of the family. You got to step out of yourself and get help. And it's not nothing wrong with it, because back during the day, it wasn't as easy for females, especially black females, to get help. And now it's offered to us, and we need to go and get help, and learn to cope with what all the trauma they have gone through, because we have went through so much trauma, as a black woman. And every day when I wake up, I have a positive attitude. I make myself believe that I'm going to have a good day, even if I don't have a full good day, you know and because I went to school and took up courses on this and stuff, uh, I know a little bit more. But I'm not putting nobody down, because none of us are perfect. I'm telling from my experience what I did with my mental, uh, uh, how you put it, not mental illness, but it will turn into mental illness if it builds up, and it becomes a stumbling block where you have, I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but you have a nervous breakdown. And what a nervous breakdown is where you just, everything just stop, and you can't even get out of the bed, because your nerves have taken control over you. It's so negative, and I don't want to see anybody have to go through that, because I've even been through that before. And uh, and that's really hard, when it's just even hard to lift your head up off the pillow and get up out of the bed, and do just regular stuff. And I don't want to see any of our sisters, anybody really, male or female, have to go through that. If you find yourself that you've stuck and you can't get out of that can't get out of the bed, don't want to do anything, not even eat, then it have went too far, and you really need help. It's better to get help in the beginning when it's first starting. And sometimes we we don't allow ourselves to get to that point to get help. Sometimes, some people do, they're strong enough to do it. But when you're going, we as a people, we have gone through so much, and we have seen so much, and we go in a grocery store, get our nails done, and be abused, and it's not fair. They making it now where you can't even be taught in school about where you came from as a black person, where you don't supposed to say, you're proud to be black. I'm a black woman. I'm proud to be a black woman. And it shouldn't offend anybody for me to say that. But people do get offended, our opposite color, our Caucasian brothers and sisters. And I'm just being real about it. I should be able to say that I'm proud to be a black woman, and I love my people, you know.
How you feel about black women that have been sexually abused and fail to speak about it and have it inside them, whereas they grow up with a disdain and distaste toward men or black men, and really not really selling, really not really finding the real help to help them deal with that horrific experience. Would you tell would you tell black women that actually have dealt with that and still dealing with that? How could you convey something to them to kind of lift their spirit too in them times of I mean just times of just I don't know how to even put it in words. You know,
Yeah.
to just talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, because I was sexually molested and raped, and it's one thing.
Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and just to be honest about it, it's really a hard thing to deal with. But you gotta talk about it. As a race of people, we was taught so much not to talk about stuff, and it's all stems from slavery. Because just like the slave master would uh, turn us, well, our ancestors against each other. You know how you had this house slave, you had the field slave, and then you had the slave that worked uh, doing the horseshoes and all the iron and stuff and making uh, carpent. They was really carpenters, and we was beat and whooped, which everybody know, and so that fear is still in us. It's like Africatown, like from Mobile, Alabama, that those Africans was bought over by a slave boat. Um, I think about 5 years after slavery had ended, and they secretly, the slave owners went and got a captain and brought all those Africans back to Mobile. And when the captain sank the ship and stuff, thank God he did that, because now they found the ship, and it's on the History Channel about it. It's called African Town in Mobile, Alabama. And do you know, I only found out about what happened 2 years ago, because it's almost like taboo. We don't supposed to talk about, what we went through as a people, and that's unfair. It puts fear in us, and we should be able to talk about the trauma we're going through, especially sexual abuse, because a lot of times.
But Miss Melvina, but I need you to answer directly what I asked you. You know, I understand you want to talk about black tone or whatever. I need to answer how black women deal with sexual abuse. I know people that's dealing that have told me about a few people recently have told me things I never knew about. I've been
Yeah.
knowing them quite a bit. Tell them how they can deal with that, because got people doing it right now don't
Hmm.
know how to deal with it.
Well, it's really hard, because that's another trauma that's so traumatizing. You get scared, and you think you're the victim, but you're not. I mean, you think you not the victim. What I'm trying to say, but you are, because whoever victimized you, uh, they brainwash you into believing that it's really your fault, or either they're gonna hurt someone in your family, and it's and it keeps you in denial, and that's another part too of mental abuse that we go through, and we allow ourselves to go through. What you have to do, you have to seek help for that too, and find somebody to talk, because there's so many of us that went through it. And get help, and get help. That's another thing that you need help with too. Also, professional help. Go to a therapist, see a psychiatrist. I'm not big on medication, and I'm into tea, herbal tea, and doing a meditation. If you like reading the Bible, read the Bible. But you really need to seek help, because that's you constantly reliving it over and over again in your mind. That act, that sexual assault, sexual abuse, and without even thinking. Then some people, it's another form too, where what happened to me, where it lays dormant, because it's so traumatized, it lays dormant inside you, and you just forget about it altogether, and then it comes out in anger, and you don't know why you're flipping out for any reason, and you need help for it, because of that trauma. You went through that trauma of sexual assault. It's really a sexual assault, and so what you have to do is find somebody to talk to. They have groups now. you can even join a group now, a group of women's that, and some men's too, because men's, they get they have sexual assault happen to them as well. Like my dad was assaulted by a priest, and you can't keep a closed mouth because you get shame. It's a shameness that you hold inside you, and it's not your fault. You don't have to be ashamed because you didn't cause it to happen. Back in the day, they would pack the boys on the back when they would, or the men's when they would rape the women, and then call the women's fast or the young girls fast. What do a 6-year-old know about being, whorish and fast? Nothing. And so that's a part where people sugarcoat stuff. But as the victim, we have to rise up above that and fight for our rights and talk about it and expose it and let this be known, because I've always talked about it, and then I end up seeking help to a therapist and a psychiatrist. That was so helpful to me. It helped me so much to get it out my system because I was holding it in, and it's not good when you hold all that stuff in like that, because you really believe that it's your fault, and it's not your fault. Especially if you're young. And even when you are grown women, because grown women go through it all the time too. And they, they get afraid and scared and thinking that, it's their fault, but it's not their fault that they had that happen to them. It's so hard. It's so hard to expose it. I know it is, sisters, that you guys, it's just hard because see, we so strong. We are taught to be strong, and you're strong even when you talk about it. But it's told to us that we don't supposed to talk about stuff, and you need to get it out of your system, and expose it. Even if you don't want to tell who did it, you need to talk about it so you can get some help. And then if you got enough nerves to expose that person, because I exposed the person who did it to me, and I didn't care, because at first I was brainwashed into believing it was my fault, and then when I got older and realized it wasn't, I didn't do anything wrong. The wrong happened to me. And some people need medication, for it, because it throw you into a bipolar behavior. Uh, all different kind of sickness that develop if you don't expose what's going on with you. And as Black women, we are taught to be strong, and men's too. Men's hold a lot of stuff in them, but I'm talking about the women's right now because I can only tell from my experience what a Black woman, what we are going through and what we're going through even this day and age. I know it's hard, and some people are hearing this and say, I can't talk about it because I had a sister that got raped and she didn't want to talk about it. When I exposed it for her, she got mad at me. And I hope one day she can expose it, because I have a sister that don't want to think about it. It's just like she gets mad if I even mention it. And I'm trying to encourage her to to help herself get some help, because it's so
Do,
hard for us you know as Black women. Everything, especially when you're single, everybody is dependent on you, and it's only so
do you
because you're in charge of your children, the household, paying the bills, making sure food is in the house, making sure everybody take care of themselves, you know.
do you think there's a real sisterhood with Black women in reference to dealing with helping them deal with their trauma, their experiences, as well as just helping them throughout life? Do you think there's a real sisterhood and balance with that?
Well, it's they can go online and look up some places now. They're starting to get together, our sisters, and I'm glad about that. Here in Vegas, I know they got some places. My daughter's even helped running a place where I just went last month, where she got a lot of Black women together with a lot of her coworkers and stuff, because she's in her professional field, and she took after her mama. She wanted help people, her own people, females, because we haven't had that opportunity to come together. It is starting to be a sisterhood now that come together. What they can do is look online or either look up in that community and see who is having these self help groups, because that helps so much when you can get together with a lot of other sisters and stuff and be able to talk over what you're going through, what you've been through, and somebody that's been through what you're going through. Because if you get with a lot of sisters, you're going to find somebody up in that group that's going through the same things you're going through or been through what you've been through. And so what we have to do is learn to start. It's hard for us to trust as women too, because we have gone through so much. We have trust issues, you know.
So talk about the importance of why black women have to talk about it. Just find somebody you can trust and talk about it. Like find somebody that's in like mind that's going through what they're going through. Explain to me the essence of that.
Okay, it's what they can do. There's the self help groups that black females are starting to get together now, and in groups. And it could be when they get these groups together, they break them up into smaller groups, so you won't feel so exposed, and it'd be easier to talk out and talk over about what you've been through, the trauma you've been through, and what you're going through at that time. But what they need to do is, whatever city, whatever community they're in, they need to seek out that help. And then it's there. It is there. You just have to pull it up online, or if you know somebody like in mental health, like we got a lot of black therapists too. They're starting to start doing self help groups. And I'm starting to see that more, and I'm happy about that, because we need that as black females. We need somebody that we can trust. And if you need your bill paid, they help you with that. If you need a babysitter, these groups are doing all kinds of stuff. You know, Financial help, whatever kind of help you need. That's what the purpose of the group is to help. It's a sisterhood, like you say. Uh, um, and they all have different kinds of names, but the purpose is trying to help our black females uh, start being more positive and start feeling worthy, because this all this stuff makes you feel not worthy. And that's why we got a lot of black females starting to kill themselves too, because they're not able to take it. But I'm glad to see it's not as much as it was, because by me being in mental health uh, for about 25 years, because I'm starting to see a change, because in the past we didn't have what we got now. And it's so many sisters that are therapists that's coming together, and they doing these what you call the workshops and self-help groups. Because if we don't help ourselves, all it's going to cause is for us to it's going to be worse and worse, until you're going to feel like you're not worth anything. And that's how a
Miss
lot of people.
Melvina,
Hmm.
I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. When they come down to black men, which what we need to know as far as how we should treat black women. And I'm quite sure there's a lot of things you can get purned out, but just address that, because we have to address the elephant in the room, because black men haven't really lived to expectations for the most part in reference to playing their role. We know we have men out here, but we have a lot of males that's not men. What can you say to them as far as talking about um treating black women, respecting black women, loving black women?
Hmm.
I'll say to us.
Well, brothers, I just want to let you know we love you. The sisters really love the brothers, and we want you to love us back. You know, I know that you get sometimes you get caught up in yourselves, and you don't want to worry, because most men don't want to be bothered with any kind of worry. And it's time now, brothers, for you guys to start stepping up to the plate. And when you see a sister that's struggling, You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to let them know. It don't have to. It can be a platonic relationship. It don't have to be sex involved. We need you guys, just like when I was talking to Major, I said, I'm so happy to have a positive black male in my life because I haven't had that. And, I'm 63 years old. Even my dad was stuck. You guys got a lot going on too, and you need help with, and you need to come together as a brotherhood and talk over what you experienced and the trauma you have went through. Just and that way you can help the sisters, because a lot of times you don't want to be bothered. I know brothers, and but you are stronger than us, and you're stronger than we are. We can't. We have to make ourselves be strong. Yeah, we strong. We have the babies and everything else. Sure enough, we could take pain a whole lot better than men. But it's unfair when we have you guys. You turn your back on us, and we're really tired of it. We're tired of having you guys turn your back on us. And then when we look up, you married a white woman, which is okay. I'm not trying to talk against that either, because to each his own. But when you see a black woman struggling with children, or just a single black woman, she's going through something, and especially if she's quiet, walk up to her and ask her what's up. Say, how can I help you, sister? You don't look like you're doing so good. You got a frown on your face and you're snapping a whole lot. You're snapping off. What can I do to help you through this? It's time now, like you say, for our brothers to start stepping up to the plate. Now we got a lot of good brothers, because look at you, Major, and Grandmaster Jay, and the elder. He's always teaching about love and stuff. We want to see that love too. We want you guys to show the love, like you guys are showing the love. Some females going through stuff and they not being showed no love at all from black men's in their communities, and black men's on their job. you know. And it's time now for the black woman to be respected. You guys know how to respect us. And, you got a lot of knowledge, you got a lot of intelligence, and and you see us struggling too. If you see us struggling, do your part as a black man, because you're strong. God made you the head over the woman. And because women's, we can be busybody and get together in cliques and talk and stuff, which I hate. I don't like that. But sometimes they do that because they don't have that male figure in their life to encourage them not to be that way, and to be positive. And that's not an outlet. That's not a good outlet for anyone. Gossiping and putting other people down. I wanted uh, everybody deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. We all do. But, like you say, our brothers, it's time now for them to start stepping up to the plate and stop ignoring really what's going on and letting everybody say, yeah, she's just an angry black woman. No, we still feeling the straps of our ancestors being beat by a whip on their back. Us as females, we feeling that strap when we go in the grocery store and somebody call us the N word, when we go in the grocery store and somebody disrespect us, or working on the job, and and they don't recognize us like they should, and then we getting underpaid. We're doing all the work because the work get put on us, and but we're getting paid the least, and it's not fair. And even it's time now, even for these guys that's holding high positions and stuff too, to start telling these companies, this black woman need to be paid just as fair, just like everybody else. She's working just as hard. I remember I was working my butt off, and I was paid less than the men, and I would fight for my right. I would tell my boss too, he was a Caucasian brother, and he would make an excuse saying this was his excuse. Well, they got family. I said, I got a family too. Just because I don't have a husband don't mean I don't need to be paid the equal amount. You know, and when they see mistreatment going on, I know it's a little hard and scary because you don't want to get fired, but sometimes take a chance, take a risk, and speaking up for your sister. And We get bullied a whole lot. The black female get bullied a whole lot, and that's why we so defensive, because people think that either we don't have intelligence, or look at us like they do all black people less than. And that's not no shade to anybody, but it's just the truth. And it's time now for it to be spoke on. You know, the female is really, really getting mistreated. And that's why I've never married again, because, I'm just afraid to get married again and be mistreated. And it's a sad thing.
Miss Melvina, you know you got trafficking of women. Um, you got missing black women that just was reported in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
You have a drug issue sometimes with black women. Um, what can you tell them? Because there's things going on. I mean, missing black women. I know you can't. I know you can probably address from the standpoint of being safe and so forth from on.
Mm-hmm.
But the drug situation, the trafficking. I mean, what you can tell them too, because
Yeah,
it's a lot going on with that.
I know. And they started at the very early age, because I had a sibling started on heroin when we was living in New York at the age of she was only 12 and a half, and she started shooting heroin because her boyfriend was on heroin. And what you have to do, you know that's another issue too, all in itself. Boy, that's really, really tough, because once they get on that, and it could be through uh, somebody they know. And if you brothers see a sister's going the wrong way, and she's by herself, because these men are picking women's up, especially teenage women and young women, snatching them off the streets and doing the trafficking. We have a lot of trafficking here in Vegas, where they're snatching women up off the street and putting them into sexual slaves, making them sexual slaves and stuff. They trying to crack down on it, but when we don't have our brothers to stand up, and like we have the Muslim nation here, and they be out in the street. Those brothers are hardcore. They don't play, and they call us queens when they see us. And if you walking with bags and stuff, they say, "Well, let me carry your bags to your car." You know what I mean? That's what all our brothers. Everybody need to be doing that. Be aware of what's going on with your community, and especially if you are around your sisters, and you see, and if it's a single woman, or a married woman, it don't matter. It's time now to you know to uh, to do your part, and help, and be a helpmate to your community. It's not hard. We know you guys are working hard too, and trying to take care of your family. And then some single men, they want to party all the time, and they think that's what it's all about. Well, it's okay to party, but also invest yourself in your community, and in your people, and especially your females, because soon as you want to know why a female don't want to give it up to you, you know that's not what it's all about. Just trying to go to bed, and then if you uh, uh, get with a female, and she get pregnant and stuff, and then you want to be a deadbeat dad, and she's got to struggle by herself. That's another thing too. You know, be invested in your children life. Um, give that mother money and stuff. You know what I mean? And don't make the government come after you for that, because nobody told you to lay down and get those babies. That mother deserved to have some help, not just from the government, but she needed help from the dad, because those children don't ask to come here, and they are victimized a whole lot to single mothers, because people take them as an easy target, a soft target, you call it, and they seek them out, and they mistreat them and stuff. See, if our black brothers, you guys, you're so intelligent and strong, and you put your mind to anything, you can do it. And a lot of times when you are young, and even older men, you think all it's about is just partying, having a good time. I know we got a lot of good brothers too, because I've seen a lot of good brothers, and I've been around a lot of good brothers. But it's a lot of brothers not doing their part, and they in denial and thinking that the world owed them something, and they, when they have a baby and stuff like, well, I didn't tell her to have that baby. Well, the child didn't ask to come here either. The woman is going to be stuck taking care of the baby by herself. You need to do your part, if you like it or not. If you have to go get 2 jobs, go get 2 jobs to help that woman out. Because, it's unfair to put everything on the female, because that happened to me. Everything was put on me. And I get tired of seeing our sisters go through that also. You got children, and the only person that's contributing is the government. And that's good, because they should help out. But it would help so much if the father would start helping more, and stop thinking that, being stuck on themselves and say, well, I don't care. I don't care. And they'd even tell a woman, to go to hell. I didn't ask you to have this baby, you know. And it's so sad. We have to go through that. Still, this day and age, I'm seeing women struggle like that and begging men to help them out financially, or just be that moral support for the children. You know, uh, it's really, really hard on a female when she's a single mom. It's so hard and sad. That hurts me more than anything when I see a single mom maybe have 2, 3, 4, and sometimes 5 children, they taken care of by themselves, because the dad got tired and he gave up, or the boyfriend got tired and he gave up because he didn't want to be bothered no more with the mother and the child. And even if you don't want to be there with them, don't want to live with them, you still need to be some kind of moral support for those children, and financial support, because that's unfair. And that's another thing that caused Black women's, we're suffering with that too. And I know, because I had to go through it. It caused you to, your emotions just be wrecked behind that, because you're doing everything. You got to make sure everything is provided for your family, because most of us don't want our children to suffer. And brothers, it's time now for you guys. And I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but it's the truth. You guys gonna have to start doing better. I know it's a lot of good brothers out there now. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a lot, and then it's some single men that the females don't want to be the mothers too. But it's more women's being mistreated than it is men's though. But I know you got some good single fathers out there now. I'm not going to forget you guys, because you guys exist, and you are really doing your thing, doing what it takes to take care of your family and support your family. Like the female, I had 2 jobs, and some of them having 2 jobs and going to school so they can have a career. I had to do that. I had 2 jobs, and then I went to school because I wanted a career in the medical field, and it was just hard. It's hard on us doing it all on our own. And I know you guys know that, but I just want to encourage the brothers, stop being so selfish. I know nobody's perfect, but you got that strength to do everything else. Have strength to be there for your family, or females, period. Even if you see them, walking with children and stuff, that woman is by herself with all those children, and you be seeing her all the time, and she's in your building, and she's a neighbor. You know what I mean? It won't hurt sometimes just to ask her, do you need something? Or do you need a ride to go to the store? I see you walking all the time with your babies. I can take you to the store. It's just simple. The simple things that help. Any little thing you do, it counts. It helps out. It helps out the female, because we've been going through this struggle for a long time, and that's why I'm in their corner, and I support them. I encourage them. Because when they get to be older women, they very, very bitter. I live in a senior community, and we got some older women that had to do that, and they so bitter and so angry because they had to do it by themselves, taking care of their children and stuff, and they just angry about it because it was so hard for them and so hard on them. Think about that, brother.
Miss Melvina.
I love you guys so much.
Miss Melvina, you was speaking about and thank you for sharing that. You were speaking about little Africa town in Mobile. Could you share briefly about that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, over in when the slave was free, and in Mobile, Alabama, the slave owners decide to hire a captain to go take a ship to West Africa. A lot of people don't know about that, and get slaves. And this was after the slaves was free. And so when they went and got the slaves and brought them back to Mobile, and they did it. It was all over a bet. A lot of people don't even know, even live there. Because I didn't find this out until 2 years ago that I was living in African Town. And my grandma kept telling me she was from African Town. That's another thing. A lot of stuff we keep hitting because we be afraid to talk about it. And it's not our fault. We didn't ask them to go over there and get our ancestors and bring them back. And so they got these slaves and brought them back. And in order to keep them quiet, they gave them money to buy their own land. So they got their own lands, and they got like about 5 cities they built together, combined together. These Africans were so smart. Our ancestors were so smart. They had their own hospital. They had their own grocery store. They had their own banks and stuff. Everything. I mean, it was just beautiful, beautiful, a beautiful community. And what happened was when after all that, people got tired of living there, and they start moving out of that city. And now people trying to go back there. I want to go back and live in my hometown too, and invest in it, because a lot of people got away from it because they couldn't get along. And that's another thing wrong with our race of people. We got to learn to get along and know that, we are equal. Nobody's better than nobody. And the reason why African Town went belly up, went downhill, and it's not flourishing like it should. It's not, and it's because they end up not getting along, and people start moving out of African Town. But it's still a beautiful place. They starting to build it back up. It's in Mobile, Alabama, and they have a museum there now with different relics and stuff. They found a ship that was sank, and it had been told that our ancestors, that it was a lie. But once they found the ship, then it was able to prove. Samuel L. Jackson did a special on it on the History Channel, because a lot of stuff that happened is hidden. The truth is hidden, and so they trying to get the community back together and start bringing our people back home. Like me, I'm going to eventually go back there to live, and be a part of that community, and I'm really, really proud of what our people did, our ancestors did, because those ancestors, they are still with us. They're watching over us, and I want to encourage our people. We as a people now need to start coming together and loving on each other. Don't be so quick to point the finger at your brother and your sister, because you know what? Nobody's better than nobody in this world. But I love my community in Africa Town, and those people. Even in my family was afraid to even talk. My grandma was the only one had nerves enough to talk about it, because when I had found out all this information about the real history of it, even some of my first cousins and stuff didn't realize the rich history we had. Those people were so intelligent. They got that money together and they built a city in the city. They had 5 different cities in one all together, and they called it Africa Town, And now they trying to bring people back there that have ancestors who used to live there and stuff, because they didn't know about it until it got exposed. It's being exposed now, and it's so sad. So many things that we have achieved as a people, we don't. It don't be talked about, and it needs to be talked about. And we're not talking about it to make anybody hurt anybody's feelings. You know what I mean? Because right now they're trying to keep the schools from teaching about the slave trade and slavery and everything. And not trying to get political, but why shouldn't we know our history? We learned about George Washington. We learned about Abraham Lincoln. We had to learn to pledge allegiance to the flag. Why can't we learn about our ancestors and where we
Right.
came from? We need
Right.
we deserve to know that. Our
Right.
children deserve to know that. Our grandchildren deserve to know about the rich history we came from.
Right. In closing, what are your last words to the sisters out there that's listening to me, listen to the channel? What kind of encouraging words you want to give in closing?
Okay. Well, sisters, I'm talking to you now. I want you to be proud of who you are. Like now, people are starting to wear the natural hair. I started maybe about 2 years ago because we had the habit of not of being ashamed of even having our natural hair show, like what I'm doing right now. The Queen of Sheba was the first person that introduced makeup to the world. A lot of people don't know that makeup came from our people. You know what I mean? Like the tribes, they put on makeup, and my grandma used to tell me, say, your hair is your crown, it's your pride and glory. Your hair is your natural hair, you know. And now everybody trying to get hair like us. I want you guys to be proud of who you are, sisters. It's nobody like us. Everybody want to be us. It's time for us to be proud of who we are now and come together. All this jealousy and you don't want to see this person with that and that person with that. We come together as a race, and especially the female. We'll be so powerful. And I want our sisters to know that they are beautiful. I made a mistake, just a quick short story. And I had my hair in braided and protected hold. And I went to the store and my hat fell off. And I said, oh, Lord. I said, my head is showing, and it was in the protective style. It wasn't like I got it now. And a Caucasian sister say, "Oh, your hair is so beautiful." Say, "Don't be ashamed of it." I said, "I'm not ashamed of it. It's all sticking up everywhere." We get ashamed a lot of times as female, but be proud of who you are. Now if I got my hair in a protective style, I don't care. I'll go to the store in it, put on a little lipstick, brush it back, and oh well. You are beautiful, sisters. You're beautiful. All your sisters, you're beautiful. Be proud of who you are. We came from a rich heritage. I know you're suffering, you're going through stuff, but you know what? We are strong. We have survived all the odds that's been against us. That means we are survivors. You are a survivor. We are survivors. We know how to make rub two pennies together and make $1. You can get a pot of beans and feed a family of 7 and some cornbread. You can make some biscuits and make homemade syrup. Just use sugar and a little water and some vanilla flavor and let it get thick. You got you some syrup. We are very, we very creative. Our race of people is, and especially the female, because we take nothing. We take nothing and make something out of nothing. And so you guys are very creative. You're beautiful, and I want you to be proud of who you are, Black woman, because, a lot of people want to be us. And that's no shade to nobody, but be proud of who you are in your skin, because we come in all kind of shades, shapes, and everybody love us so much until they want to be like us. They want our hair, they want our colors, you know what I mean? They want our lips, want our butt.
Thank you, Miss Melvina. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming
Bye.
on the channel. Thank you for blessing us with your wisdom. I
Mm-hmm.
really, really appreciate it. We're about to close out, you all. I thank you so much with all the comments and what have you. I
Mm-hmm.
won't be going through comments. It's kind of late. I had drove all day.
Oh, bless your
So I
heart.
just wanted to do this live because I'm tired. I just wanted to come do this
Oh,
live. And Ms.
you
Melvina
deserve it.
asked me a few weeks ago, about a month ago, that just want to come on here and talk to the sisters. And I had no problem in granting that wish for her because I really believe that she has so much to offer. You know, y'all don't think y'all gonna see her for the last time. She'll be back on the show too.
Yeah.
She's a little nervous. She was a little nervous, but she pulled it off. Though she was a little nervous.
Yeah,
but she pulled it off. She pulled it off.
Talk in groups. I used to do it for a living, so now I don't really talk in groups anymore. And I know it's a big meeting you have here. You know,
but I
hope more people came in and cut in, especially the sisters. They need to hear that.
Yes, I want to thank you so much. I love you.
I love you.
Keep doing what you do.
Guys.
I love you all in the chat. Thank y'all for viewing. Thank y'all for just supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. But you know what? I have to go. So y'all stay focused, still cool, just be black.
Amen.
Peace.
Shalom.
Shalom.
To the people, the power is the people. They power in your ego. We power in this evil. It's power in this music. Got power and I use it like I'm a superhero. We really need a leader. Power to the people. The power is the people. They power in your ego. We power in this evil. It's power in this music. Got power and I use it like I'm a superhero. We really need a leader. Wish we could see that we hurting ourselves. Hate to see each other excel. Looking like crabs in the barrel. Wanna gossip, wanna judge. What if we all just unified and put all our differences aside to preserve our way of life and be black and keep our pride and be kings under God and speak words that are wise and don't glorify things that took our fucking people lives. We've been oppressed so long, we feeding on our own. Disconnected from our people, stuck in zombie mode. Children of the lost tribes. Just go back to Israel. They say I'm trivial, but I swear it's biblical. We need to come together, not only at funeral. I'm so tired of fucking funeral. Power to the people.